Today, we'll explore Kamala Harris's demands to appear on Joe Rogan's hugely successful podcast, following the historic interview with Donald Trump that has garnered over 38 million views. Why is the vice president avoiding this direct format? Let's dive into the details. Joe Rogan has made it clear that he wants to have an authentic conversation with Kamala Harris. However, her campaign seems more interested in dictating the terms of the meeting. According to Rogan, the initial proposal was for just 1 hour, and he believes that the most effective format is an open dialogue in his Austin studio. Long, unedited conversations have proven to be an effective way for politicians to connect with the audience. Rogan emphasizes his desire for a genuine conversation, a space where voters can see Harris as a person, not just a politician. But what is she really afraid of in not accepting these conditions? Kamala Harris's campaign has been trying to control her image from the start. Often, politicians feel the need to dictate the terms of interviews to avoid uncomfortable situations. However, this approach can backfire. Voters are looking for authenticity and vulnerability, two qualities often displayed in open formats like Rogan's. Take Barack Obama, for example. He used unconventional platforms to connect with younger voters during his campaign. This kind of interaction can be key to gaining support. Yet Harris appears to be opting for a more traditional approach, which may not resonate with today's electorate. Commentators like Charlie Kirk have expressed that America deserves 3 hours with Kamala, unscripted. This demand resonates with many who seek real transparency in leaders. But why change a format that has worked so well for other politicians? Harris's reluctance to participate in a more extensive conversation could be seen as a sign of weakness. This raises broader questions about the state of politics in the United States. Polarization has led politicians to avoid situations where they lack control over the narrative. This approach could alienate voters who are tired of traditional politics. Citizens are looking for leaders willing to face opposition and answer tough questions. Criticism of Kamala Harris has increased. From her struggles to answer questions to communication blunders that have plagued her campaign, many analysts consider her one of the worst candidates in recent history. One of the most memorable gaffes was her comments about her experience at the border, which led to a wave of backlash. This raises the question, what does it mean to be an effective candidate in the modern era? The ability to connect with the audience and show vulnerability can be just as important as proposed policies. Authenticity is crucial. When voters feel that a candidate is not genuine, they can become skeptical. Harris's situation highlights the importance of having a coherent and authentic image. This lack of emotional connection could be her biggest weakness, especially at a time when political polarization is at its peak. Comparing Kamala Harris to other candidates provides more context. Take Donald Trump, for instance. His willingness to confront the press and engage in open debates has been one of his greatest strengths. Despite criticism, his authenticity has resonated with many voters. Trump has managed to seize every opportunity to showcase his personality and opinions without filters. This has built a connection with his supporters that Harris seems unwilling to explore. Voters value candidates who can stand firm in adversity and communicate clearly and directly. In summary, Kamala Harris's situation raises many questions about her leadership capacity and authenticity. Will she have the courage to sit down with Joe Rogan and show who she really is? The audience is eager to know the truth. In the meantime, her campaign remains a hot topic of discussion. Don't miss the next episode for more analysis and commentary.
And I think...
it's funny. You need at least the attitude of a comedian when you're doing this business. This is a very dangerous business, first of all. It's a very tough business.
It's the most dangerous business.
It's the most, well, for a job?
Yes. I mean, other than going to war and being a firefighter or being a cop, it's the most dangerous business.
It's the most dangerous. For being president is the most dangerous.
Especially you. I mean, you haven't even got to the election. There's been 2 assassination attempts. And they've brushed those out of the news like it was nothing.
Yeah, they'd rather not talk about them.
Imagine if there was assassination attempts on Biden, how hard people would be attacking the right, how they would be trying to get guns taken away from people. They would try to ramp up gun laws. They would try to figure out some way to blame you. If there was attacks on, if Biden got shot in the ear, we would have never heard the end of it.
But I think he's in good shape because it's only consequential presidents. If you take a look at what's happened, look, I'm for having countries pay us billions and billions and trillions even dollars. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. Nobody took in 10 cents, not one other president. I do things that make it, that don't necessarily make me so popular. I just do what's right. And when you do that, you're more, look at Iran. We would have never had the attack on Israel at all. Iran was broke. I told China, if you buy, you can't do business in the United States under any circumstance. We're going to go cold turkey with China. Some people think that would have been a good idea anyway. But if you buy any oil, 1 barrel of oil from them, you're not doing business. I said that to many countries. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hezbollah. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money. But I make myself, I understand what I'm doing. You make yourself a target, and it's a very dangerous business. But if you just look at statistically, so I saw a thing, I don't know if it's right, but 0.1% for a race car driver. It's a pretty dangerous business, right?
Yeah.
0.1% for a bull rider. I tell you, to me,
you're talking death.
These guys that ride the bulls is worse than UFC. It's worse.
Yeah.
These guys, you see these big monster bulls, and you see it in slow motion where the foot is like, an inch away from the head. If it hits him, the guy's gone. But they die. They die.
So 0.1% die. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 0.1% die.
Right.
And they certainly get hurt badly. Or really, they can't walk after a certain period of time. But with a president, if you look at
the amount of assassination attempts.
And attempts, too.
Yeah.
And attempts. No, it's a very dangerous position. I never thought of that, by the way, when I did it. You don't tend to think.
Did you just assume because people loved you on The Apprentice, they were going to love you as a president?
I figured it would be so easy. It's
well,
very
it probably
interesting.
would have been if the media didn't attack you the way they did. If they didn't conflate you with Hitler. Even today, like Kamala was talking about you and Hitler. They're going to take what you said about Robert E. Lee. Oh, Donald Trump wishes the South won.
That's right. He loves Robert E. Lee.
They love to take things out of context and distort things. But
they don't even have to take them out. They make them up entirely. Okay,
they do that too.
But it's interesting when you mentioned the I was very popular, and all those people loved me. Some of these women, they're so stupid, and Joy, she would every time she'd see me, I'd be in the theater or something, and she says, "You have to be on the show again. Come on, let's go. We have."
She loved you.
To love me.
That episode where,
by the way,
people should watch that episode just to see what we're talking about. Like I said, we don't want to get a copyright strike, so we're not going to put it up. But if you watch the episode, it's bananas. It's like an alternative universe, and it's only
but Whoopi
9 years ago.
Whoopi loved me.
You. Gives you a hug and a kiss.
And how about that other one, the new one on there, the one from my administration? She writes me a letter. You're the greatest president. She leaves. She worked as an assistant press secretary. I hardly knew her. But she leaves and she writes me this gorgeous letter.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our content. Leave your comments below. What do you think about Kamala Harris's situation? Should she accept Joe Rogan's invitation? We want to hear your thoughts. Until next time.